Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Microsoft Teams Essentials webinar. My name is George Farrer. I'm the Modern Workplace lead at Ingram Micro Cloud in Australia. So welcome again to this session. Today we're going to talk about what Microsoft Teams Essentials is about, the customer scenarios, and how to sell the product. Towards the end, we'll also talk a little bit about Microsoft Defender for Business, which is a new product that Microsoft is releasing for the SMB market. And then we'll take some questions, time permitting, towards the end and finish around about 2 o'clock. So as everybody is streaming in, those of you who are on time, thank you. We might as well get started since you've come in on time, and I'm sure everybody else will catch up. This session is being recorded, so we'll supply you the recording and some of the resources that we'll be referencing throughout the session. So let's talk about what's happening in the world of work, and this is from some research that Microsoft has provided around what's happening with work. And obviously, for obvious reasons, we've been working quite remotely. We're now beginning to see some of the trends of people starting to move back to work. Different organisations are approaching this quite differently. Some are forcing everybody back to work. Others are allowing staff the flexibility. Here at Ingram Micro in our Sydney office, from where I am, we've turned our office into basically a hot desk environment, and people book a desk when they need it. So every organisation is taking it, looking at the way that their employees are going to work, and others are really forcing change on their staff. But it's fair to say that technology is now beginning to play a much deeper role, and this is where Microsoft Teams Essentials comes in. So when we look at how much usage is going on with Teams, Microsoft has 250 million active users on Teams at the moment across every market you can think of in multiple languages, and they're ratcheting up about 1 billion one-to-one calls every month. So the pandemic has obviously driven this. And then it'll be interesting to see how this plays out as things begin to settle down. So Microsoft Teams Essentials is now a standalone product. It's a full version of Teams. So you no longer have to buy a full subscription to, say, Microsoft 365 Business Basic or Business Standard to get Teams. You can get it as a standalone. So for instant meetings, chat and collaboration and storage, all in an affordable price. The USD pricing is $4. The Australian-based pricing is about $5.60. Sorry, I am using US pricing as we have some APAC attendees on the call as well. So I'll be referencing both the USD and the Australian-based pricing. So Teams Essentials provide you the ability to really capture the demand for meetings that customers have, acquire customers with a point solution. So you're not trying to sell the whole Microsoft stack. This is very much focused on collaboration, chat, video chat, where currently customers are using multiple tools to do that, and particularly looking at those Google Compete scenarios. And it also provides storage. So again, Teams unlocks new customer scenarios, a point solution for meetings, the ability to be able to share documents and have them available from wherever or wherever an employee is. So, for example, if they're on their phone, at home, on the desktop at work, they've got access to all their information via Teams. So let's look at sort of the Microsoft stack, the architecture of the various products. You're familiar with Microsoft 365 apps, which are your Outlook and Word and Excel, full versions of these products plus OneDrive. Then you look at Business Basic, which provides the Microsoft services, so Exchange and Teams and SharePoint and OneDrive, with a web version of those applications. Business Standard brings those two products together, where you've got the desktop applications and the cloud services. And our real focus here at Ingram Micro is promoting Business Premium as the lead SKU for partners to lead with it, as it encompasses all of the products and services available in standard and apps, but also provides you a high level of advanced security and device management. So what Teams Essential is, and this was released in December, 1st of December, Teams Essentials is a standalone Teams product with fully functioning Teams, some storage, access to the web applications for the desktop solutions. So when you look at the differences between the various products, Teams Essentials is an entry point product, $4 US, $5.60 in Australia as the end user price. As you can see from a lot of those features, the product is no different to what you would find in Business Basic, Standard or Premium. However, there are some subtle differences when you get up to Business Standard and Business Premium, where some of the other services are available, like desktop apps, the amount of storage. So, for example, in Teams Essentials, each user gets 10 gig of storage. So in terms of the Teams functionality is exactly the same. It's some of the other features that you will get. So some partners are looking at this as an entry point with certain customers, and then over time upsell them into Business Basic and Business Standard. Important thing to note is that you can add phone system to Teams Essentials. So if you wanted to displace an existing PABX or phone system, you can use Teams Essentials both to provide the chat collaboration capability, but also as an alternate to their existing phone system if they're still using an office-based phone system. So what are some of the target customers? How should we approach Teams Essentials? So ideally, it works well as a first cloud workload. So if you've got customers who are still on-premise or using hosted email or hosted Exchange, Teams Essentials is ideal to solve providing them a meeting solution, getting them to take one step into the cloud without looking at their email and their file storage and whatnot. Teams Essentials really meet that need in ensuring that all staff have access to communication with head office and with each other. As a standalone meeting solution, so if a customer currently deploys a range of different solutions, it could be Google Chat, Google Zoom, Slack. They combine these products to form really what Teams does. So if they're not ready to go the full hog of deploying the Microsoft 365 suite, you can look at Teams Essentials and potentially add on Teams phone systems and calling plans to that to round out that offering. The other way to look at Teams Essentials is as a frontline worker tool. So currently you've got the F SKUs that you can use for in the enterprise SKUs to provide access to the email and SharePoint and whatnot for enterprise users. In the SMB space, you can use Teams Essentials as a way of getting to frontline workers, people who are remote, truck drivers, retail workers, etc., giving them access to chat, meeting, and calling, and access to files, being able to work in teams, in channels, and all running off their own mobile devices. So while Teams Essentials is capable of handling businesses up to 300 employees, the real target is small business at the sub 25 level. So small businesses using an on-prem Office or Exchange service, small businesses who are using Google Mail or similar products, and as a tool for frontline workers for those small and medium businesses as well. Challenges these organisations have are time and budget constraints. They don't have specialised IT, and generally they will cobble together a solution or a number of different solutions to provide what they need. Sales manager might like Zoom, marketing like Slack, and they bring these things together, and the whole business runs on Google. So Teams can actually eliminate the complexity, if you like, in managing multiple IT services. And the beauty of Teams Essentials, it comes with a lot of the security that's bundled into a lot of Microsoft products, and the being able to manage devices across the business. So here are some of the qualifying questions, and we'll spend a little bit of time on this just to sort of role play some of these out. So the first question would be, do you want to improve meeting and collaboration but are constrained by your budget? If we look at the cost of, say, Zoom, Slack, and Google, and then you look at the cost of Teams Essentials at $4 USD or $5.60 in Australian dollars, it's a pretty compelling case. Do you put off buying a better meeting solution because it seems like they're too complex to manage? This again goes back to the complexity of having to manage, multiple applications, as it does in the third question there. Do you use multiple applications to meet communication and collaboration needs? Then, do your team struggle with current meetings and collaboration tools? Teams is about simplification, making it easier, use a single tool to provide meeting and collaboration. And then on the similar theme, do you want to reduce the number of apps you use? So the more apps you introduce to a business, the more security risks you have. You've got an organization like Microsoft that takes security very seriously and bundles a lot of security functionality within Teams. And there was a recent announcement that end-to-end encryption was being introduced to Microsoft Teams for one-to-one chats and video calls. Obviously, that's going to be at the expense of a number of features, but that's coming down the road as well. Do you want every employee to have their own meeting account so they don't have to worry about sharing? And that's fairly common with some of the more expensive meeting solutions around. Would you benefit from centralizing how you manage users, devices, and security settings? So with Teams Essentials, you have the ability to centralize and manage all the users and the devices within your organization. Are you concerned about sensitive data being lost because of files getting shared via email? You can keep all sensitive files in Teams and refer people to those files by share or giving them access to it if they're in a particular channel or through links in their chat, so it all stays in Teams. Do you have frontline workers who need to participate in meetings and collaboration but don't need traditional desktop installed Office apps? And this again refers to the scenario where you might have truck drivers or retail staff who don't need a fully fledged Office 365 application stack, but they're just happy with being able to communicate via Teams. So I think we've answered this question. Why should customers buy Microsoft Teams Essentials? But as a summary, meet, chat, and call from anywhere on any device at any time. Maximize the value by minimizing the investment in a range of different applications to meet the same objective. Simplify the everyday work processes. The ability to create teams and specific project teams to work on a specific project is a really great function within Teams, so that all the chats, all the documents, all the recorded meetings that have happened for that particular project are stored in one place. And if you miss a meeting or you're away for a week, come back and you can easily catch up. And then lastly, customers can be confident that their privacy and security and compliance are built into Teams Essentials and are not considered an afterthought. So some key questions. Can I use Microsoft Teams Essentials with my existing email system? Yes, absolutely. Users can keep their existing mail system and leverage Teams Essentials for meetings, chat, and collaboration. Will I have a single calendar view on Microsoft Teams Essentials for all meetings? Yes, there is a calendar built into Microsoft Teams, and irrespective of what third-party calendar you're using, that'll be reflected in Teams. Can I access Teams calendar while Exchange is on-prem? Yes. Users can have a view of their meetings, even though their mailboxes are hosted on Exchange on-prem. Now, there are a number of applications, and this is just a sample, but there are many applications being built that can integrate, or that already exist that integrate now with Teams. I know in our environment, things like Atlassian and Jira and those sort of products are integrated into our version of Teams. And the most simple one, obviously, is Microsoft Forms. So you can have forms built into Microsoft Teams. These are all out of the box, and the number of these gets bigger and bigger every year. So how do you transact this on the Cloud Marketplace? Well, if you go to the Cloud Marketplace right now, you'll find Teams Essentials, and you'll notice in brackets there it's ADD Identity. Microsoft is selling, I believe, an alternate product for their Web Direct solution, or their direct, but there are some features that aren't enabled in that version. So you can find this on the Cloud Marketplace, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the offers that we have for you to help purchase the Microsoft Teams Essentials. On the Cloud Marketplace, we have a go-to-market hub. This is a central place where you can find marketing material that you can take, add your own logo, and use within your own marketing. There are already Teams Essentials assets available, some emails, social media and digital banners, and a landing page as well. So you can take those, customize them to suit your requirements, and begin your marketing campaign around Teams Essentials. There are a number of resources available. There is a partner technical guide for this version of Teams, and there's a series of frequently asked questions. I think our intent will be to, when we send out this recording, we'll send you links to these documents as well for your own use. So there's a special offer on Teams Essentials from March the 9th through to June 30. Microsoft is offering a 25% off the annual term commitment. So as you may be familiar, the new commerce experience, which kicks in on March the 10th, Microsoft is introducing a pure month-to-month offering, as well as the annual term commitment, which we're all used to. They're offering a 25% discount on the annual term commitment for your buy price. So this promotion is exclusive to partners on the new commerce experience. So if you wish to transact these, you can buy it now, but if you want to wait for the 25% discount on the annual term, that'll be available from March the 9th. So in summary, Teams Essential is the fully functioning Teams with storage, which allows you to meet, chat, call, collaborate, and integrate your meetings, bring teams together, communicate with staff, manage projects, company announcements, all available through Microsoft Teams. As promised, we're going to talk a little bit about Microsoft Defender for Business. So Microsoft is introducing Microsoft Defender for Business for the small and medium enterprise segment for organizations up to 300 users. Now, this is basically enterprise-grade protection. So typically what you'll find in the Defender for Enterprise, you'll find in Defender for Business. And what's important is that this product will be bundled into Microsoft Business Premium on March the 1st. It'll also be released as a standalone product, probably in the second half of this year, possibly earlier. We don't have a firm date on that. But every Business Premium customer will receive Microsoft Defender for Business. Should automatically appear for those customers, and we can help you with deployment, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So what is it? Basically, Defender for Business includes Intune, AD Premium Plan 1, Exchange Online Archiving, Autopilot, etc., etc. So you can just read them all there. Now, it's available for up to 300 users. It's included as a feature within Business Premium from March the 1st. And as it says there, potentially in the first half of this year, so later this, at least before June, we should have this available as a standalone product. If you want to compare this to what Defender for Business looks like compared to Defender for Endpoint, Plan 1 and Plan 2, it's very similar to Plan 2. Some of the features have been downgraded for the SMB market, but essentially it will have a significant degree of capability for the business market. It's when you're talking about potentially at $3 US, so possibly $4 per user locally, it's an exceptionally priced product for the capability that it provides. So increased revenue by accelerating upsell into Microsoft 365 Business Premium. If you've got a lot of customers who are on Business Basic or Business Standard, you can deploy Defender for Business and look at whether upgrading them to Business Premium makes more sense. Look at non-Microsoft 365 customers. So this is a good way to establish a beachhead with a client. If they're using a different solution, use Defender to get into that client and deploy a Microsoft security solution, and then eventually, potentially upgrade them to the full suite. And this could be a great add-on for existing 365 customers, particularly Business Basic, who are not ready to upgrade to Business Premium, but need an enterprise-grade security at a very attractive price point. And again, looking at existing 365 customers for the upsell and acquisition, whether it be on-prem or customers with alternate solutions to Microsoft 365. So where you can, you lead with Microsoft Business Premium, the all-encompassing suite, and then the fallback is to use Defender as a way to deploy a security solution for the client. If there was any doubt about Microsoft's capability in all these 5 different areas, the Gartner Magic Quadrant, Microsoft in most cases is a leader or is actually leading in that segment. So you can see that Microsoft takes security quite seriously, and Defender for Endpoint is just completing the solution so that we can talk to customers that are generally in our small and medium business space about a desktop solution or an endpoint solution. And Forrester has named Microsoft the endpoint, a leader in the modern endpoint security for enterprise and for small and medium businesses. So that's Microsoft Business Defender for Business. I just wanted to reiterate the Microsoft Teams Essentials offer, which is a 25% discount off the annual term. If you also look back at the email that was sent to you regarding this particular webinar, Ingram Micro has I believe it's a 2-month free offer as well if you buy Microsoft Teams Essentials. Some other offers that you should be aware of, Windows 365, which was released last year. We're offering a 1-month free, again from March the 9th, to be transacted on the NCE platform. That's 100% off for 1 month for one user per customer. And finally, for Australian-based partners, we're offering a 30 days free on net new Microsoft 365 Business Premium, E3 and E5 for net new subscriptions from the 15th of February to the 31st of March. There is also an E5 accelerator cashback. So again, look through the emails we've sent you, and if you've made a sale of E5 or you make one between the 15th of February and the 31st of March, there is a cashback for that as well. So with that, I'll end now. I'm happy to take any questions you have. So if you have any questions, please feel free to chat. I notice we have a few questions around NCE, so I might bring up this slide here. Many of you are hopefully aware of the new commerce experience coming to your purchasing experience, I guess, onto CMP, onto the cloud marketplace. This is a Microsoft initiative to really improve the way transactions occur. Also, there are some changes that are going on, particularly with commercials. So there are two distinct things happening here. There is a Microsoft price increase. This is kicking in on March the 1st, and this is across 6 SKUs in the Microsoft ecosystem. Those SKUs are Microsoft Business Basic, Business Premium, Office E1, Office E3, Office E5, and Microsoft 365 E3. Those products will see an average of 15% discount increase. It ranges between 10 and 20% odd, and that will be effective for any new orders or any renewing subscriptions from March the 1st. So on March the 1st, when you go to place an order for those services, or whenever they're due for renewal, they will see that price increase. Now, the new commerce experience is launched on March the 10th. Now, if you go to our cloud marketplace, you'll probably see that we have products there with the NCE bracketed behind it. At the moment, there are effectively 2 ways of purchasing from us. Is you can purchase on CSP Legacy, which is the current platform, or you can purchase NCE. Now, NCE will introduce a month-to-month plan where you will pay monthly, and for the flexibility of being able to change your subscription on a monthly basis. That will have a 20% premium. There is the annual SKUs, which we're all familiar with. The annual SKU, which you can pay for annually or monthly, which is what we've been used to. Up until now, you've been able to change that subscription at any time without any penalty. You could cancel it and get a rebate. That no longer happens on NCE. So NCE subscriptions, if they're bought on an annual term, will be an annual term. You will not be able to downgrade the product or reduce the seat count. Upgrades and increases in seat count aren't an issue. So that's March the 10th. There is talk of a 3-year subscription, which is not available just yet, probably later in the year. What that means is that customers that buy a 3-year subscription are locked into that subscription and must pay for it. But they will have the option of paying annually for 3 years or monthly. So that's for any new orders transacting. Any renewals have until June 30 to renew orders in CSP Legacy. After June 30, all orders must go through NCE. So some partners are looking at ways where they could renew their customers early, one possibly to avoid the price increase, but also avoid the commercial changes on NCE. So the key commercial changes on NCE is that if you want the flexibility of a month-to-month contract, you will pay a 20% premium over and above the existing price. The other main one is that once you're in a monthly or an annual agreement, you are locked into that agreement for the term. So even if it's a monthly, you can change your subscription on a monthly basis on the anniversary of that month. But for annuals or 3 years, you've got to wait for that term to finish before you can make downgrades or reduce the seat count. What it also means that if you subscribe a customer to an NCE annual, they cannot move service providers in the term of their contract. And then this will all be done by July of 2023, where there will no more subscriptions on CSP Legacy. They'll all be on the new commerce experience. A quick update on the price changes. So these are the prices that are changing. These are the new prices for these SKUs. So like I said, there's between a 10 and 20% increase across these SKUs. Effective March the 1st for new subscriptions and on the renewal date for the existing subscriptions. So I'm just looking through some of these questions here. There were some questions here about storage. So how much storage is available to users business on Teams Essentials? So 10 gig is the per user count for storage. You can't increase. So Mark's asked whether there's an ability to add additional storage to Teams Essentials. No. My suggestion is that, or the intent is that if a customer needs more storage, you would upgrade them to Business Basic. So instead of $5.60 a month, they'll pay $8.90 a month, but they'll get additional storage. They'll get a terabyte, but then they'll get Exchange and everything else. So the intent is to use Teams Essentials as a way of upgrading a client if they need more storage. Yeah, so 10 gig per user, no additional storage. Let's have a look. Yeah, so Teams Essentials was launched on the 1st of December last year. However, if you want to take advantage of some of those offers, particularly the 25% off, you can wait till March the 9th. However, Ingram has a special offer right now. I think you're getting 2 months free if you transact now. So you have a choice. And I think that's all the questions we have now. So, look, I think we've covered off Teams Essentials. Defender for Business, look out for that on March the 1st as it gets integrated into all your Business Premium clients. Look out for it, hopefully before June, to be available as a standalone product. The US pricing for that is looks like about $3 US per user, so hopefully about $4 odd for us here. And just remember those offers for Windows 365 at 1 month free. And I think at that, just checking to see there are no more. One more question here. Quite a few clients have hit place archive limit 50 gig. I usually purchase the add-on to increase. Yeah, so no ability to increase anything on that. Does Premium come with 100 gig already or still 50 gig? I believe it's still 50 gig, but it should have an unlimited archive from memory. So if you can convince your customers to begin to use their archive, then you don't really have an issue. But yeah, it's something that people have to get used to. Just looking to see if there are any other questions. Just wanted to check one issue. Yeah, it looks like, yes. So Business Premium is still 50 gig. I can't see that changing too much, but again, I'd look at how I might be able to leverage the archive in Business Premium, the unlimited, potentially it's unlimited archive. So there's some way of using that. So with that, thank you very much for your attendance. Like I said, we will be providing all the information to you, the recordings for this session, plus some of the resources that we referenced, and a follow-up email over the next few days. So again, thank you for your time and have a good day.